Hi, I'm Draxtor Despres. Joining me now at the BAVC studio here in Second Life is Australian artist Lynette Wallworth. She uses a lot of technology in a very humanizing way, so it was a natural impulse to get her into Second Life and chat a little bit about real versus virtual. But first, Lynette, if you could further define your own work in a little bit more detail?
I do interactive immersive installations, so I'm interested in creating a space that brings us very close or intimate into the work. You know, maybe there's a trigger, there's an IR trigger or several triggers, but all of those mechanisms are hidden, and actually all you experience is the work responding to you.
What fascinated me, the one where the visitor touches another person, that is a projection on a screen.
Evolution of fearlessness. I filmed 11 women, and all but 2 are political refugees, and so they have come from Afghanistan and Eritrea, Iraq, El Salvador, and even though the touch may not be real, the touch still impacts on us. And that's why I'm interested in this space that you've been showing me in Second Life.
I was just going to say, because that is what is missing in Second Life. You cannot touch anything. Right now we have real glasses of wine that I want to disclose to the audience we're drinking, and later when I piece this together for Second Life, maybe I'll put some animated glasses in our hands, but our avatars are not touching that. What's your reaction to that this is missing?
That sense is missing, but the only way I think you can achieve it is if you're touching something in real time. So what I would be interested in doing, for example, is if we watch this back and we are drinking wine as we are watching our avatars drink wine. You need to create the connection for the brain. I think it's an old story of some little doll that is a representation of you that carries essence of life in it. It's somehow connected, and yet it clearly isn't them. You know, I happen to come from a country where it's a very specific thing that you need to, in many circumstances, ask, can I take this photograph? If I go to an Indigenous community in Australia, I can't bring out my camera and take an image. I need to negotiate the transfer of an image, which is, in a sense, virtual. It's going to pass onto my digital camera.
Your theme, let me tell you what your themes are. Your themes are empathy. I'm going to be the art critic. Your themes are empathy, but they're also the antidote to victimhood. It's being empowered through the tragedy. It's not to be destroyed by it. It's really celebrates the human spirit to me.
It is about those things, and I see people come and approach this doorway. What I see happens, it appears to me, is that there's some sort of transference occurring, which again comes back to why certain cultures won't let you take their image, because they also believe that there is a transference. So it has to be willfully given as a gift and not taken. I have seen a young boy, one of the women approached in the doorway. It's a video of this woman. She was an Afghani woman. She had a shawl on, and she's an elderly woman. And he was wearing this kind of beautiful and very cool hat. He put his hand there. She approached him, and he instinctively took his other hand and grabbed his hat and took off his hat in response to meeting this video woman. So
that's very similar to the virtual experience. The instinct to be respectful and remove the hat in response to a person that doesn't really exist is exactly the same phenomenon that I instinctively take off my shoes when I go in the virtual mosque, because I know it's customary.
You know, I come from a country that the powerful message of Australia is the colonizing country that arrived could not read the culture and thought it didn't exist because it couldn't interpret it and did not spend the time to try and learn it, and just rough rode over the top of it. And if you create a world where you say, this is so foreign, like no one else has been here, you know, or this didn't exist that many years ago, then you know that culture's new, and maybe what you do is step carefully. And perhaps it's a really great lesson.
And that's what we can relearn. Step a little bit more carefully. That was Lynette Wallworth. In Second Life, she goes by the name of Rasaa Mistwalker. I'm Draxtor Despres. Thanks for tuning in.